Let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Podcast76. I'm Ruskeydoo.
And I'm Grey.
Are you actually grey, or are you actually pink? Because... So anyway, the summary of what's been happening this week. There has been an update, a teensy-tiny PTR update. There's been a comic. There is some forum stuff. Overwatch has paid out $4 million in prize money. Blizzard wants presenters. And Overwatch bans streamer for Bronze to GM Challenge. Well, it's kind of banned all of them, but there's a specific case which is kind of interesting.
Yes. Shall we?
So, yes. Well, I mean, let's start at the beginning, right?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, let's do the PTR update.
Yes, so the big thing for the PTR update is the general update, which is now that Ultimate Charge is immediately expended when a hero's ultimate ability is activated instead of being depleted over a short period of time. Now, this affects different heroes in different ways.
Yes.
And there are some heroes that it affects way more than others. But the way it is at the moment, when you press Q, or whatever your ultimate button is bound to, if there is a charge up time at what's known as a channel time, and this affects Lucio, Genji, Reinhardt, Soldier76, those are ones off the top of my head. But there are a whole lot of ones where the ultimate doesn't activate absolutely immediately. And then over the next 0.25 seconds, once the channel has finished, it then depletes your ult. So what can happen is if you don't finish your channel at all, you actually keep your ult in its entirety. If during the channel phase, which is during the short period of time, 0.25 seconds after the channel is finished, but you haven't actually started the ult, then if you get killed or stunned or taken out of your ult, then whatever ultimate you have left on the as it starts depleting, you get that back. And that's kind of a quite random amount because it's 0.25 seconds, so that's 3
it's
frames.
A little bit arbitrary. Although here's the thing, though, I don't recall that ever happening with Reinhardt when I've played Reinhardt. I never recall getting interrupted in my hammer down. I thought it was binary. I either lost all my charge or I didn't. That's
because there is a point in the animation at which it happens. And it's one of those...
maybe I've just never been hitting that 0.25 seconds?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But if you sleep a Reinhardt just before the hammer actually hits, they will
have an amount.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Okay, that's cool.
But Genji and Lucio are the two who are most affected by this, because now, the moment you hit Q, your ult is gone.
I had heard that this was pretty bad for Bastion and Mei as well.
I can imagine.
Because they have really long kind of charge times, right?
Well, Mei's not so bad, because, you still throw it.
You still husk the thing and get rid of it.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to affect Mei at all. And Bastion, if you're going to die in the middle of channeling your ult, you were going to die anyway. So I don't see it making a difference, you know?
Well, it's how much ult you have left over afterwards. That's the distance, right?
I don't think it's going to affect them that much.
I bet there's Bastion mains out there just being like, you know nothing. Oh, God. Yeah. So I presume the reason they've done this is because, I presume it was originally instigated because it felt bad that people lost their ult without getting any effect of it. But as the game has progressed, it's more kind of odious for the person who says, get that clutch play to stop the ult. And you haven't stopped the ult, they come back with it.
Yes, that's essentially the argument for why it should happen. The new way on the PTR, which is if you make a clutch play and you sleep a Genji who's ulting, or you manage to push a Lucio off the ledge before they hit their Q and it actually hits the ground, then when they fall, they should you've made a clutch play, you should deny them the ult. That's the argument.
And it's also this weird scenario where, say, as an Ana with a sleep dart, you don't want to sleep an ulting Genji too early. You have to wait till the sweet spot. And that's just a bit... It feels odd, right?
It feels odd, but it felt really good when you got it right. And also, I I learned to tell when they still had their ult or not. And so I had this extra layer of skill where I knew whether someone still had their ult or not, and I could call it.
But it's like that level of skill where it's a bit kind of... it doesn't feel intended. It's like how Overwatch has got rid of the mechanics of rocket jumping. It's because they don't want fiddly stuff in there. They want the decisions to be tactical choices much more than minutiae execution stuff, for the most part.
I can get that.
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff that is tiny minutiae stuff, though.
Yeah, but it's the stuff you should be focusing on, like clicking heads and such. It's not like janky mechanics that... Like, okay, here's one bad thing about it, and here's why... Like, I think in a kind of straight design sense, like this isn't talking game design, but just in kind of like aesthetic design, it's awful. Is like there's no way to convey those mechanics to a new player easily. Like it's really unobvious, and it's like, oh, it works like what? Why does it work like that? And the people who've been playing the game for ages are like, well, I mean, this is what we're used to, you know. But to like an outsider, it's just a bit what?
Yeah, I think it'd make a lot more sense if we'd just started like this.
Yeah.
Like, if you press Q, you just lose your ult.
But, I mean, sorry, go on.
No, that was about it.
Okay. Here's one thing that I'd say about, like, the old version, not this new one in the PTR, is that imagine an Ana times it really well and gets that absolute clutch play so that the Genji ult has been depleted and the sleep dart hits.
Yeah.
Imagine the casters having to explain that shit to an audience. Like, it's just so, like, that's a weird niche rule. Why?
I guess.
It's just, yeah. For me, like, I can see this makes everything look a lot neater.
Yes, I agree. I think overall, in terms of design, this is a better design. What I do wonder is if they're going to have to tweak some animation times, because...
This is going to adversely nerf some heroes and not others.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. See how it pans out.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. More stealth Genji nerfs.
Indeed. Other stuff, the whole thing about being able to hold down your boosters for D.Va has gone in.
Yep.
Which is nice, and there's a load of other bug fixes and stuff.
Oh, no, there is one other big thing, which is... Yeah, so on the PTR now, after you capture a tick of a point, it now makes an audible noise.
Okay.
And it shows a little animation as well. So
okay, so previously you just had the percentage going up.
Yeah, basically it was just the percentage going up. And you couldn't always tell whether you'd quite captured something or not. Now you get a noise and an animation that shows that you get.
There were times when you thought we got that tick, and then you were like, oh, we didn't get that tick. Okay,
yeah, sure. Absolutely. So now you know because of the noise and the animation.
Okay, that's very cute. I have to approve of that.
I've always wondered why that hasn't been in the game. It's never made sense to me.
Fair enough. Next up, we have a Zarya comic.
Yeah, this one kind of came out of left field for me. I wasn't expecting a comic at all, and then a Zarya comic. I don't know. I suppose that makes sense, but yeah, wasn't expecting it.
I'd heard... I mean, we'd had rumours about there being a Zarya comic, but yeah. I'm going to throw it out there. I think this is one of the weaker releases that Blizzard's put out.
No, I agree with you. I think that this one... Like, the reason Zarya's involved is just crap from the beginning. And
like, it's basically a detective story, and it's like, why would you choose Zarya? Like, I mean, it even looks ridiculous. She's going all around the world in her Zarya outfit, and it just looks like, how are you ever gonna like find someone who doesn't want to be found like that? It's just...
Yeah, and not only that, but how are you going to find them? Literally by knocking on people's doors.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on.
Okay, here's my favourite example of how bad the dialogue is in this. Okay, so Zarya and Sombra are fighting in a warehouse. Zarya says, "Sure, as soon as I find you." And Sombra retorts, "I'm kind of elusive, you know, like winning the Summer Games, ?
Ha 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 ha.
There's no context for that, except that the Summer Games is in the game. It's just... Oh man, that's
No, it's not good. Like it's just like a tiny bit of exposition. Like this whole thing, I don't like it.
Yeah, and just oh god, the combat scene.
Yeah.
Oh, just yeah.
And the whole thing of we've got to give Zarya some character development, so we'll have her work with an Omnic.
Yeah, and the Omnic is just so characterless.
They're all characterless. They're all really two-dimensional.
Zenyatta's like got a load of interesting stuff.
I'm talking in this comic.
Oh right, yes, no.
In this comic, everyone is characterless. They are reading lines off a very bland script. Their motivations are dreadful. The only person whose motivation I understand is Katya's, who is Sergeant Volskaya. Chairman Volskaya, that's the one. I understand her motive. This person has made a threat against her. She wants to find that person. That is a very clear motive. But the motive for using Zarya? Nah.
Yeah, it's also like she's basically using Zarya as an assassin, right?
Yeah, I assume so.
I mean, it wasn't like go to capture her. It's like go and kill her. Because otherwise, the chairman's motivations don't make sense. She's lied to Zarya. Why would she let Zarya find out that she's been lied to?
Yeah, and the Omnic's motivations for actually going to the warehouse are really fluffy as well. I kind of have an interest in this group, so I'm coming with.
Yeah. Like what?
Why?
It just doesn't hang together.
No, it doesn't at all.
Oh, and like Alejandra. Wait, no, she's just Alejandra. Right, that's the girl that 76 rescued, right?
Yeah. She just happens to know Sombra.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just to throw in a character that we've seen before, but
like her motivation for helping them out. Oh, I guess you're here, and I see the picture, and Zarya's like, "You'll be my hero," and she's like, "Oh, I'll be a hero." No, it's rubbish.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think here's the thing. It's like in such stark contrast to the like Roadhog and Junkrat stuff. Like, I didn't think the Roadhog comic was great, but you know, it was solid. Nothing made me go, ugh.
I don't know. I know it
if
did.
I probably played it back, it probably did.
No, it
these
did.
comics just aren't really knocking it out of the park, are they?
No, they really aren't. They're very two-dimensional, and a lot of them are really bland.
Who are the writers on these?
I don't know.
Wait, script. Robert Brooks is the Roadhog one. Wait, did he also do the Zarya one?
No, this was Andrew Robinson, Joel Selner, and Katie. I can't pronounce that, so I'm very sorry.
Huh. Joel... No, the script is Andrew Robinson and Joel Selner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Just...
I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I assume if you're doing comics, it's because you have a story that you want to tell, and like this isn't a story that I don't understand why you want to tell this story except for exposition.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like awesome character development.
There's no real character development. All we do is find out a couple of things. Katya Volskaya is a liar. Sombra is interested in exposing that, or exploiting that at least. Zarya is naive and doesn't know how to be a spy, and let's make sure she's paired up with an Omnic. It's just
Yeah, I mean the art's great, we should say.
Yeah, art is very, very nice, as per usual.
There's some very pretty pictures there. Just the script is just, I don't know,
rubbish.
Yeah. In fact, there's one bit in the art I don't like, where Zarya uses her beam and it bends. Like, it kind of comes out on the wonk and bends upwards to make room for a speech bubble. I don't know if that was intentional, but...
Let's move on. I don't have much good to say about that comic, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, because I do think... Like, Blizzard are meant to be good at the storytelling thing, and... Yeah.
I wonder if making comics for games is just really hard, because I remember Valve had this same problem with TF2. Like, their comics just didn't really hit it, you know?
Well, I remember what you really didn't like about the TF2 comics, which you felt they were zany for the sake of being zany.
Yeah.
And I think that's just Jay Pinkerton's style, because that's kind of everything that he did. I think it's a he. But yeah, everything they did was in that sort of style, and I can understand you not liking that style.
Yeah,
however, it did have a story which progressed, and like, I don't know about character development, but like character exploration there was some of. Like, you know, it made overall, like, as a whole, I felt it was better, just because I did want to know what was going on in the comic. I want to know why we all sitting this Australian, why, you know, there's all these interesting things that were going on, and then I wanted to find out where that went. And we still don't know, by the way. They still haven't finished their comics.
They never will. But
these, they just fall completely flat for me. I don't care at all.
Yeah. At no point am I like rooting for Zaya. I'm just like, why are we here?
I'm not even rooting for Sombra. I'm just like, okay, I guess that happened.
We're doing a thing. I don't really... Sure. Also, I mean, I don't even... Like, I'm thinking, like, after how many days of knocking on doors, Sombra presumably wants to be found?
I guess so. I don't know. I really don't know. Like,
anyway, maybe it'll all make sense later, and we'll be like, oh my God, we didn't see it coming. It was all, you know, laying the groundwork for this amazing stuff, but who knows?
Maybe, but this is not a very strong foundation.
No, forum stuff.
Yes.
Okay, there is a weird comp bug that has literally been affecting about 200 people.
Yes. But it's kind of a big bug.
It's kind of serious.
Yeah, so essentially what would happen is a comp game would fail to launch properly, and they would try to do this thing called re-instancing, because you can actually have multiple games on a single server, and each game will be in what's called its own instance, so that, you know, everybody can kind of play, and then it's just doing the math in the background and figuring out where all the bullets are going. But that way, like, they don't have to have a server per game, because that would be kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
So what would happen is, sometimes if there was a bug, or an asset wouldn't load properly, or something, then it would just kind of restart, or kick you over to another server, or something like that. It would essentially do re-instancing. And so what seems to happen is, sometimes the game would continue to fail to load, but instead of just saying, oh, I'll kick you over to another game, what would start happening is, it would say, oh, well, actually you lost that game. You didn't win, so you lost. But then it would kick you over to another instance, and then it wouldn't load. And then that instance would be like, oh, well, you lost that game, and I'm going to kick you over to another instance. And it would happen over and over and over and over again. And people are losing like 600 SR to this bug.
And more important than that, they were then getting banned from the season because
they were leaving games.
They left too many games, which is...
Yeah. So, Blizzard have said, yeah, we've figured out this bug is a high priority bug, and we're going to be removing all the seasonal bans for the players that have been affected by this and restoring their skill rating. But, oh my goodness, that's an awful bug.
Yeah, they're on it. Okay, so next up, and you're going to have to explain this one for me, the hit reg problems.
Okay, so people have, since the last major update, been saying that there have been some really serious problems with hit registration. Like, there are some instances in which hit reg is wonky in Overwatch, but now they were wonkier and much, much worse. And Tim Ford, who's one of the lead engineers, put together a forum post talking about this. And it all just gets a bit technical. One of the most interesting things is, essentially what was happening is when you lose some packets,
right,
which is like every time you send information to the server, it sends it in what's called a packet. And what happens is sometimes, you know, those packets don't arrive at the server correctly for various reasons.
Right.
And you can actually notice this happening because on your screen, there will be this little symbol of 3 cards in the top left-hand side whenever it happens. So what would sometimes happen is those packets wouldn't arrive at the server, and so it wouldn't know quite where you were and what you were doing. And when this would happen, it would try to predict where you were going and what direction your arrow is facing in and, you know, is firing. For example, if you were playing a Hanzo. And what they've done is they've realized, oh, we're predicting this too far in the future for this. We're doing this prediction thing where we're predicting wrong. Let's roll this back a bit and we'll figure out a better prediction rate for Hanzo and various other heroes. So they're doing loads of little technical things, but they have acknowledged the problem.
Okay, yeah, I remember I had seen one video where someone clicked on someone and they most definitely clicked on their head and no hit registered.
Yes, and that was essentially because the server thought they were pointing in one direction, whereas they thought they were pointing in another direction.
Yes, so the server didn't register what they had on the screen, which, like, for all of the different priorities that you get in a game like Overwatch, if on your screen you see with someone's head and you click it with a hit scan, you have to have that hit, otherwise it just feels awful.
Yeah, it's just like, what is even the point in being good if...
What is the point in being good?
What is the point in being good if what I'm doing doesn't matter? I'm totally with them. But I think the really interesting thing about this is that what made a real difference was people submitting video evidence.
Yes.
So, like, loads of people got together times when their hits didn't register, and they sent them to Blizzard, and Blizzard looked into that, and they said, okay, now that we've got this evidence, we can actually look at this. And it's so much easier to troubleshoot when you can actually see exactly what's happening. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Next up, Overwatch breaks $4 million in prize money.
Yes. Now, this isn't for a single tournament, but this is over the course of the lifetime of the game.
Cumulative.
Cumulative. That is a good word.
Yeah, it's a great one, isn't it?
But yeah, essentially, we've reached a stage where they've given out $4 million in prize money, which seems kind of ludicrous for a game that's only a year and a half old.
And considering that, like, the Overwatch League hasn't gone live yet.
Yeah, which is going to be the big money maker for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's really going to be a thing. Yeah, so this makes it 13th in the list of total payouts in terms of computer games.
That's really strong, given that it's such a young game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long way behind some of the others, though.
Yes, well, yes. Well,
because, I mean, stuff like, Dota 2 has just had nuts payouts, right?
Yeah, like crazy payouts. I think they had like a $10 million payout or something like that for one tournament. Yeah,
in fact, I'm looking at it now. Dota 2 has had a total payout of $126 million.
It's a couple of bucks, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, that has had more time to like go than Overwatch,
I think people
right?
forget just how old Dota 2 is now.
Yes, it's a good few years.
It's been a good few years, and it took quite a while for it to get to like the status that it's at. So, good. Good for them.
Yeah, we will see. So yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of awesome. Staying on the kind of competitive slant, Blizzard want presenters. They've put a thing up on their blog, basically asking for on-air talent.
Yeah. So
which isn't us, sadly.
No.
Because, faces for radio, etc., etc.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't have any talent, so...
Yeah, also, actually, like live commentary and stuff is really, really hard.
Oh, it's really difficult.
I did fair bits of that in my TF2 days, and it's just, oh my God, it's hard. I've got so much respect for anyone who does it.
I can barely remember my own name in the moment. How I'm meant to remember anyone else's name whilst they're doing complicated things, I have no idea.
It's also just saying stuff to keep it engaging. I remember, I think I might have mentioned this on a show previously, but one of the hardest things I did was like commenting a b-ball championship for most of a day. And b-ball is like, it's 2-on-2, 2 soldiers versus 2 soldiers. And, oh God, yeah, trying to get a flag in a basket. There's only so much you can say about that. You've pretty much exhausted everything you can say in an hour, and there's just more hours
How
to
long
go.
did you cast that for?
We were on and off for an entire day.
Oof.
Yeah, it was... Oof. That was the thing. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if that is actually you and you have things like a show reel and some experience, and you think that'd be interesting, then you should totally go and give that a shot.
Though it is worth mentioning that you're not necessarily going to be doing the shoutcasting, the mid-game casting, because
they're
also
holding things together and such.
Yeah, and you could be doing like the color commentary in between the games, because those are done by different people.
Yes.
So yeah, there are various responses, but if you're interested, apply. Could be a break. Who knows? But rather you than me.
Indeed. So, lastly, we're going to be talking about someone who got banned for doing the whole bronze to Grandmaster Challenge.
Yes.
Although there was a load of drama around this one because they tried to spin it as something a bit different.
Go on. Would you like to explain?
Okay, so this particular caster starts playing with friends who are very low ranked. And as a result, they come out of placements with a very, very low rank. Now, they then throw out on Twitter that they're going to be doing a Bronze to Masters challenge, and Overwatch are then like, well, then we're going to ban you? Because, they started doing this challenge. But then the person who's doing it then says, but, I got banned for just playing the game with my friends. And Blizzard are like, well, I mean, you did play with your friends and you weren't 100% throwing. However, after that, you went on to do the thing, which we said you shouldn't be doing. So, yeah.
The thing is, I agree with Blizzard on this one, because essentially during those games, if you can play in Masters and you made it down to Bronze, you're good enough to carry. I know because I've made it just to Masters, not even to Grandmasters, and I could carry in Gold. Yeah. So that means that someone who's Grandmaster could definitely carry in Bronze. And so essentially every game you're in, you are the deciding factor. It's only your game.
Yeah. Which is just, it's just awful.
Yeah, it's just really bad for, the 11 other people who may or may not be with you. It's just not good for them at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish people wouldn't do this kind of stuff. I think it's one of those faceless internet things again, where people don't realise quite how horrible it is when a game is just clearly someone's just playing the game and you're not. Like, you might as well not be there because they're just so far ahead of you in some respect.
It's actually kind of like playing against people who have cheats on. Like,
yes, it's a similar feeling.
It's a very similar feeling. Like, how am I meant to win against this?
Well, I mean, you're not, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man, we left that on a high note, didn't we?
We did. What a happy note to end this on. I'm happy.
Lovely.
Are you happy?
I'm very, very happy. Listen to me being happy. And this is happy Ruskeydoo saying goodbye, happy.
This is Joyful Grey saying toodle pip.
Goodbye.